You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Hello! Has anyone seen Leeds? If they have, please tell me. Get out in your garden, pick those stones up, have a look underneath. They may be hiding there. Good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, goodbye. Hello! Welcome along to the Let's Talk Leicester debate show. This normally, of course, goes out on a Monday night. I think we were all kind of busy last night. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I'm sure we were. I kind of just say, I had to get this out. It hasn't been out for 10 years. I could say that about a few of my bits, to be honest with you, but look at this. Look at this. Got it ready. We are Premier League. Say, we are Premier League. Yes, we are. We're back from outer space. We turned around and we took that look right off our face. Thank you very much for joining us. If you are in the chat, please feel free to join in. If you're from Ipswich, Leeds, Southampton, West Brom, keep it civil, keep it nice, but you're more than welcome. And if you're listening on podcast, thank you very much for lending us your ears via TalkSport. With the podcast on all the major podcast platforms. I've got to just say we had a new member, Wayne, and I added him on. And then I've just literally, as we started, we've got another new member, Sinji. So welcome along, Sinji. It's not him, is it? You don't think it could be? No. What's your surname, Sinji? I just want to check. It's not the same, is it? It could still be Wayne. Who knows? Mike is in. Evening again, mate. Hope you all well. Funnily enough, I was on TalkSport earlier and they asked me if I was well. I am. Sophie's in. Hiya, Sophie. How you doing? Highfields is in on his tour of the UK on the witness protection scheme. How you doing, mate? And Spencer, Championes. Yes, exactly, Championes. Look, we may see Dave later, depending whether Southern Rail are on strike or not. Don't know what state he'll be in because he has been drinking. So we're going to try and get her on before Dave comes on so we can get some sense out of her and say, oh, hello, look, she's a bit small there. Let me do that. There we go. Kate,
hello.
How are you?
I'm a bit sleepy, but I'm all right. I'm good. I'm fantastic. What a day.
What a day. Nate is in. Hi, Nate. Have you just renewed? Because you can't, I don't know. The thing that's confusing me is that StreamYard have been taken over. So there's a lot of things changing that I don't know. But welcome along, Nate. We are elite. We are. We can ask Gurinder. We are elite. No going to Rotherham away for Gurinder now. It's back to Man United and Newcastle. And Dave isn't allowed out tonight. Cassie put her foot down and straight back up. Yes, indeed. Look, let's get the elephant in the room out the way first of all. I have just got a simple message for the EFL. I think that sums it up really. Like transfer embargo, to you. That's all I can say. Yeah, try and put a transfer embargo on us and we'll just get promoted. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. But look, you were there last night. That whole end was Leicester fans, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all Leicester fans. I think it's a 23,000 seater stadium. So we had the best part of 6,000 and it was no way near full. I'd say maybe 17, 18,000 were there last night. It wasn't full at all. I mean, it was a bit of a dead rubber for them. But yeah, it was an absolute party town last night. It was like supermarket sweep. There was that many inflatables flying about the crowd. From blow-up dolls to unicorns to giraffes.
Dave went then.
Yeah, to giraffes, to what else was there? Dinosaurs. Honestly, it was absolutely unbelievable. Beach ball after beach ball kept flying on the pitch. Party poppers and confetti went off at the beginning. It was just unbelievable. It's a proper carnival atmosphere, and everyone was just in full voice throughout, as you could probably hear.
Definitely, it's all we could hear was Leicester fans, and all we could see were the balls were on the pitch. Spending more time taking the balls off the pitch than he did refereeing the game.
And quite a few like bold, the bold wigs that you can get where it's just quite a few of those as well. Yeah, it was great.
I used to have one of them.
Did you?
Now I don't need it. It's naturally have balls.
Save yourself a bit of cash there.
Yeah, who did I? It was when we had Cambiasso.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
My mate was selling Cambiasso wigs. They were awful, but look, it was a laugh. It was a laugh. But I think they said over 5,500 Leicester fans there.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 5,600 of. I mean, Preston were quite good for A, giving us that allocation, and B, I think they gave an extra couple of hundred this week.
Right.
Which I'd love to see teams do. If you're not selling out your home bit, try and make some money off the away fans that want to come. So, I mean, it was funny at the end because obviously the players came round and everything, but we kind of like peed on their parade a bit with their lap of honour that they do because it was the last home game of the season. So all the players and their families came out, and I don't really think they should have bothered.
No. I mean, again, we've got to say, in fairness, a big thank you to Preston because, I mean, it was about half an hour after the final whistle, and the Leicester players were going in and out like a cuckoo clock, and they just allowed it to go on, and that was pretty decent of them, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I think I'd gone by this point, but I think when the last bit of the players came out for that final time, I'd gone by then. I didn't realise they were coming back out. They played When You're Smiling on the stereo, which they didn't have to do.
No.
So that was a nice tip as well.
I always, like I say, when I lived in Burnley and we were in in the Levine, Ollie years in the Championship, we used to play Preston obviously quite regularly. And away games we used to go because it was only an hour, not even an hour, half an hour down the road. And like I've said a few times, they always used to do it as a family game, so it was like £1 a ticket. So I could take all 4 kids and not be broke, Yeah. But Luke is in, the Forest fan. Evening, won the league in style. At the end, we did. I don't know if anybody's said now, and I meant to get this up, and again, it's been one of those days. I was supposed to be, like I say, Kate was on the BBC this morning. I was supposed to be on TalkSport. It's like BBC Breakfast versus Good Morning Britain. Mine didn't turn up, so I had a bit of a row with them about that. But then I went on TalkSport in the afternoon. Then I'm on TalkSport tomorrow as well, TalkSport 2. So it's been a bit chaotic. But have you seen that Call for Leicester? It's made by Call for Leicester. It's the guy off Minions, the bad guy.
Oh yeah. I have. Yes, I have the 4 pictures.
Yeah. It's hilarious. It really is.
Really good.
Gave me my inspiration by my bbc.co.uk / wrong way. That's it. / LCFC. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll give you a bit of a taste of it later. There's a promise. There is a promise. I don't want to take that picture down, but to be honest with you, I do feel like, it is piss off EFL.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like, why have you gone to that much hassle and looked in the rule book when you're not even sure if the rules are going to be applicable next season? Do you know what I mean? it's just kind of a feeling of we're being gunned for, I think, to be honest.
I did say, and I can't remember which conversation, which station I had it with, but we are starting next season in the pit lane, probably, but at least we're in the race. That's the thing, Yeah,
I'd be surprised if other clubs escape punishment. I think there may be some others going on as well. We can't really. What's the word? What's the word when you try and predict what's going to happen? You can't really speculate about what's going to happen because the rules are so opaque. It doesn't really say anywhere this amount of breach equals this amount of points. So no one really knows. We just know that we've got to try hard to keep our players. I think there's been talks from Rob Dorset tonight from Sky apparently that Leicester are looking to sell Kiernan and Dewsbury Hall before the end of June. But I don't think we should do any of that. I don't think you should sell you. I'd rather take a points hit.
There's going to be so much speculation. I mean, there would have been anyway. I mean, even while we had our transfer embargo on, we were getting linked with players. It was pretty stupid. And to be totally honest with you, I did this in last summer, and I did it in January. Although obviously we didn't do anything in January. But until it literally becomes almost official, I'm not bothered.
No, me neither. Like, you just want to bask in the sun for this moment.
Yes. I mean, you get all these links from like sportsworld.com and that one that I was telling you about that pretends to be Sky Sports and Football League World. They're a load of bollocks. It's all they are is like guys like me sat there writing a story out, trying to earn a bit of money and posting it to all the groups so that people, follow it. But look, talking about talking to the radio, here's where if anybody wants to go for a pee, they can do. Because what I'll do is it's only 7 minutes long, but I will play the interview which TalkSport kindly sent to me. I actually was speaking to Darren Ambrose and Dan Bardell, I think it was. I don't know who he is, but Darren Ambrose, ex-player, who actually used to play for Ipswich. And I didn't realise at the time, but I did say I wanted Ipswich to come up with us. So that may have made him happy. But here we go. Time for the toilet, or you can just listen to my dulcet tones more than you have to. Here we go.
Yes, as you heard there, Leicester clinched the Championship title with a comfortable 3-0 win away at Preston last night. They'd already been promoted, but now they can't be caught at the summit. And joining us to reflect on this and more is Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die. Chris, how are you?
Surprisingly, I'm very well, thank you very much.
Yes, I bet you are. Chris, did you celebrate more last night or over the weekend when you obviously clinched promotion after Leeds gift-wrapped promotion for you?
Oh, I've got to say probably promotion.
Yeah.
Just because that's what it was all about at the end of the day. Anything over and above that, winning it, getting the record for the number of second-tier wins or, points, that would all have been a bonus. Just getting back had to be and always was the number one goal.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you were on track, as you said, for a record-breaking points season. You've scored the most goals, conceded the fewest goals. You potentially could get your 100th point at the weekend if you beat Blackburn. I mean, is that all down to Enzo? Talk to us about Enzo Maresca. You did have a wobble, but I mean, how good has he been? And are you confident he can make that step up to the Premier League?
I think so, because obviously he's had a little bit of experience there. We working alongside Pep a couple of times. It was completely left field when he joined us. I mean, I was screaming for Kieran McKenna from Ipswich, which on reflection wouldn't have been a bad shout. But he's like, wow, and he was probably the appointment we needed because you tended to forget that, well, hang on, what experience has he got? Because he'd literally 6 days before he walked through our door, he was lifting the Champions League trophy.
Yeah.
And that was probably what we needed at that time. We'd got relegated. The way we'd got relegated, it was all a bit of a sour taste. So yeah, that came in. Enzo coming in immediately gave us a lift. Then suddenly, there was the big change. I mean, we knew, the players we were going to sell. We knew we'd sell them because the money wise. The players we were leaving go that were out of contract probably had to go. There was quite a bit of dead wood in there. And he came in and it was like a new broom, as they say. And he then introduced this new style of play, and we're all like, "What's this?" Because we've been used to the counter-attacking Ranieri sort of thing that won us the Premier League. And we went off. We absolutely, I described this season as like a wacky race, if you remember that program.
Yeah,
but we set off. We set off at a pace, and we were like, you say, 17 points clear, and it wasn't bad. It pulled us back, and it probably put our feet back on the ground, because at that point we were talking, like say, record points tallies, and we probably got a little bit ahead of ourselves, if I'm honest with you. So it did bring us down to earth. We gave the other teams a little bit of a chance, and once they got a bit close, we said, that's too close. You're close enough now, we're going to go for it. Yes.
I mean, I've been certainly impressed with Enzo Maresca, but talk to me about Jamie Vardy. 2 goals again last night. He was involved in your last promotion to the Premier League. He was involved in the Premier League winning team in 2016. Now this promotion. Just sum up what he means to Leicester fans.
I mean, he is Mr. Leicester. I mean, and I know that, title was bandied around about, by different teams for their favourite players and what have you, but that has to be the best £1 million any team in English football has ever spent. I mean, what would he be worth now if you bought him, sort of thing, at that age? And it just goes on and on and on. And at the start of the season, we said, look, he isn't going to be able to play that many games. It's, midweek weekend. He's, 37 now. He's getting on a bit. They'll wheel him out in his bath chair, and he'll probably still come on and head a goal in. You write him off at your peril. And I've written him off myself. I said, this is a season he becomes a super sub. No, that was down to the others. When you needed him, Mr. Reliable. I mean, they were singing after the game, 10 more years, Jamie Vardy,
He showed the pace at the end when he done the Klinsmann celebration, didn't he?
Yeah, but even we've got to keep him for next season. I know it's the Premier League and it's a different, kettle of fish, but can you imagine, if you're 1-0 up, or you're just fighting for that last minute goal, and your defenders have been playing for sort of 80 odd minutes, and they suddenly look up and Jamie Vardy comes on.
Yeah.
You'd pack up and go home, wouldn't you? He is so important. And, it was Jamie Vardy that when we did have that slump and it looked like, the wheels were coming off, called the players together. He did a real captain's job.
Yeah.
He had a team meeting with just the players and basically, called a spade and it turned round.
I'm absolutely delighted for you. I'm going to bring the mood down ever so slightly here. Potentially, I really don't want to do that, but I just want to ask you about the PSR stuff and potential point deductions. Has that tempered how you feel about going up at all?
No, look, we'll worry about that next season. At the moment, let's just enjoy ourselves. I mean, I wrote a bit in one of my blogs today, and I said, all right, next season we may be starting the race in the pit lane, but at least we're in the race. And look, I mean that's a show on itself. That is, you know what I mean? It's and I think football. I'm not just saying this from Leicester's point of view. I think Nottingham Forest have been badly handled. Everton. When you're looking at who could win things or who could get relegated, and it's not decided by results on the pitch, it's decided by a group of people around a table that say, right, we're knocking that many points off you. That's surely ruining the game, probably more than VAR.
I mean, in terms of the new wage cap rule, you're just going to miss out on that, of course. So you're probably, you are going to end up with a points deduction. And look, it'll be tough. We know what it's like. It would have been tough with 0 points. We've seen the 3 promoted teams this season. I mean, lastly, Ipswich or Leeds? Who do you want to be the next club?
One last thing just on the points deduction is we've got the advantage that we're going to get that at the start of the season. So we've got the whole season to try and claw that back. Where the likes of Everton and Forest, it's been taken off them mid-season, so they've not gone as long.
Yeah.
2 teams I want to go up. I'd love to see Ipswich do it. They're a lovely little club, and they deserve it. They were like the Black Knight out of Monty Python. You chop an arm off them, they still come at you. and by the playoffs, Southampton, because they're just down the road from me, so I get to go and see Leicester play if they go up.
Watch us on YouTube
Listen on your favourite podcast platform
or ask your smart speaker.
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
There you go. Oh, look at that. Celebratory fireworks in the background. Yeah, I like I said there, and I think we said before, in the green room before we came live. So we're in the pit lane. We know we're maybe going to get 6 or whatever points deducted. I hope we start the season off against not easy again. I suppose there's no easier games, but don't give us Man City and Man United and Liverpool in the first 3 games, so that at least give us a chance to get some points on the board straight away, and we'll feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also feel that I want the points deduction to happen before the start of the season, which I presume it will do, because I don't want you to sort of accumulate some points and hard-fought wins or draws or whatever, and then to have them chalked off effectively.
Exactly.
Which is quite detrimental mentally. Like, if you know where you're starting at, you know where you're starting at.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, and like I said in there, at least we've got the whole season.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sort of linger on this point too much, but the league is being decided by men round tables, isn't it? Saying, right, well, they need to have that many points deducted because they've been a naughty boy. It doesn't matter what you do on the pitch.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're preaching to the converted. I just think that the rules are basically there, like we've said before, to protect the existing head of the league and not let any of the new entrants in. We haven't breached anything in terms of running a company, like not paid HMRC or not paid VAT or not paid staff. Like we keep ourselves above water, largely thanks to Top. So long may that continue, and we do continue to be a viable company, and that's what's more annoying about it. So profit and sustainability, we're sustaining the business because Top can put money in. It's just very frustrating.
Yeah. Say again hi to Sinji. Says hi Chris and every other City fan, love you all. Excuse my slow typing, took me 15 minutes to type this. Arthritis. Sinji, appreciate you coming in and making the effort. Thank you very much. You are very, very welcome. Love listening to you all. I'm Himat, not quite Sinji Okazaki. Loved him though. Hi Himat, how you doing? Obviously must be maybe a hero for you. Luke, the Forest fan, having a points deduction is a ridiculous a league check decided on points instead of what happens at the football pitch. Basically, what I was saying. Highfields, remember we're still taking. We are, but we've got to presume the worst. It's only going to be 4 points, I think, judging of Forest and Everton. We will see. Talking of which, and I did allude to this on that TalkSport interview there. Do check it out tomorrow. Do check it out today. In fact, I keep forgetting it's Tuesday today because normally we do this on Monday. Check it out today. bbc.co.uk. Kate / she'll get it right one day. She's filling in for Dave. / lcfc.com. I mean, I described that you would describe following Leicester as a roller coaster, but this season it's been wacky races, hasn't it? We got rid of the caveman. We got Peter Perfect come in. We set off. Dick Dastardly overtook us from Ellen Road and damaged our. Do you remember wacky races, or are you too young? I think you're too young.
Just about, yeah, just about.
And Dickie Davis, sorry. Dastardly broke our fuel tank and we slowed down and they got above us, although it was only for one corner. And then Penelope pit stop from Suffolk came up on the outside, but she had a row with a neighbour in the pits and just fell away. It has been like that. But look, we're 7 points clear. I mean, what were we worrying about?
Because it's Leicester.
Yes, there is always that.
With Leicester, there's just that underlying motto in the hope. It's the hope that kills you. And whilst we were never at all naive enough to think that the 17 point or 11 point, whatever it was going to be sustainable, because we were going to have a blip. We said this in December, January time. We said it and we expected it. Everybody else had their blip early doors. So having it late on meant the pressure was even higher. And with all the pressure then coming with the off the field stuff, it was heart wrenching at times. It was heart in mouth. It was panic stations for a little while as well. And that brought out, obviously some negative feeling within the fan base as well. But fair play to the lads, and Enzo included. They stuck to the task and trusted the process. And we've made some tweaks, I think, these last few games. And it's a relief really to get over the line. I didn't feel like super excited on Friday as such. It was more like, oh my God, thank God for that. Like, it's been so stressful this last month. And then yesterday was like the party, and Saturday will be even more so.
Were you like me? Because you asked me, did I celebrate more for the promotion or for winning the championship? And it was pretty close. I think for me, it was promotion in the way that it happened. Leeds just capitulated. I'm sorry to any Leeds fans that are in, but they just capitulated against a relegation threatened side. It was such a Leicester thing to do as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And we've said before on the podcast that it's always telling to see how well you can sustain pressure when you're in the spotlight. So for a little period, we were out of the spotlight because we were out of favour with people for apparently financial doping and having the highest wage bill in the league and almost cheating our way to winning it. So Leeds took that spot. Ipswich did a bit as well. And that put them in the spotlight. And I don't think either of them coped with it very well. So we were sorting out stuff in the background for those few weeks, and then have been able to capitalise and regroup and push on. And the last few performances have shown that, really.
Somebody said in the chat earlier, and I don't know who it is, I apologise to the person, that I don't know whether I think this is a joke, that Leeds are lining up Wayne Rooney if Daniel Farke doesn't get them promoted. I really can't see that happening.
No. I think Farke's done a great job. I think it's just one of those. The start of their season killed them, and I know a Leeds fan quite well. And those first 5 games before, I think it's 4 or 5 games before the transfer window shut, they were in total disarray. They had players leaving, players arriving, and the season had started. And again, it's another mess up by the Football League. That why are you starting a season with umpteen games before the transfer window shut? Their first 5 games were pretty much a write-off.
Yeah. Ipswich versus Coventry has kicked off. Coventry got absolutely nothing to play for. Ipswich, of course, on the same points as Leeds. This would send Leeds down to 3rd with 1 game to go. And Leeds have got, obviously, Southampton at home on the last day. Ipswich have got Huddersfield. So you would think Ipswich would have had the easier game. So I'm sure Leeds fans and players are watching that tonight, all being Coventry fans. I want to ask you a question, because I don't know if it was as bad as it seemed, but that was another awful performance from Preston. They do it every season. They have a good start and then they fall away from the playoffs and they kind of end up in mid-table obscurity. They were not only just on the beach, they were playing in flip-flops. If I was a Leeds fan or an Ipswich fan, I would not be happy with Preston. I mean, as nice as we said they all were and what have you, but there was just no effort there. I mean, McAtee when he went in for the, his goal, and I'm watching it, and literally he went past a Preston defender, touched him on the shoulder as he went past, and then stood and waited for the header to come in, and he was left alone. It was unbelievable.
Well, even his header that really should have been a goal, he was just stood by himself. And even when Woot hit the post, Vardy was not only the quickest to react, he was the only one to react.
Yes.
When the ball came back off the post, like the Preston players were just like, oh, all right. And if it was me, I'd be thinking, well, Vardy's perhaps retiring this year in a Preston guy's head. He ain't scoring against me. He's not having his, last moment in the sun. I'm going to screw him over. Like, that will be the competitive person in me. I want to screw this up for Leicester because I have the power to.
Yes.
That would be that's what a lot of Premier League clubs do when they're playing either relegation teams on the last day or teams that could get top 4 or the Championship. You want to mess it up for them because that's the competition in it, isn't it?
I mean, and fair enough, they didn't put a load of youngsters out or anything like that. But at the end of the day, this wasn't a game that didn't affect, because there's some games, let's say Preston play in Sunderland, both of them say nothing to play for, kick off and have a game of cards in the centre circle. But this had an impact on Leicester going up. Oh, we're already up, obviously, but going up as champions. So I just think as I say, as a Leeds fan or an Ipswich fan, I would have been absolutely fuming. Preston did not have one shot on target last night.
No, he didn't feel like it. I don't think Jakob had to do anything, did he?
I could have gone in goal, to be honest with you. And
you could have put your name forward, Chris. You could have got your medal. You could have got an appearance fee. And we'd have all been behind you and you'd have been hit on the head with an inflatable giraffe.
as long as I wasn't hit on the head by the inflatable blow-up woman.
Oh, no, she'd be in goal with you.
It'd be something for me to do, wouldn't it? Anyway, moving on. This is one way I could score, I suppose. But, where have you taken this? Still 0-0 between Coventry and Ipswich. But look, I want to sort of, like I say, that I just felt annoyed. But I did this earlier, and let me just bring it up here. And to me, this sums the club up. It's from the start, from the top to the bottom. No pun intended there. Something that we used to use when I worked in sales. Teamwork makes the dream work. I hate it. It's one of those awful sayings. Come on, guys, get it going. Teamwork makes the dream work. You just sat there going, "Fuck off." It's Monday morning.
How about that dream?
Sorry?
How about that dream? Fuck off.
Yes, exactly. But it was one of the, the sales things that they shouted at you. But look, it did feel like a team. Top. You got Enzo, who was committed to the, the cause. You got Jamie Vardy. He's the right man for the job as captain because he was the one that took the players aside apparently and said, right, we need to have a talk about this form. And and the fans, yes, they've had a few of them have had a moan. You'll always get those fans, but generally speaking, they've bought into what Enzo's been doing. And as much as I would criticise Enzo for any game that we lost, of course I would do, because he has control of the players in the end. But you've got to also give him credit when it's going well, and it's gone very well this season. It is, so when you say team, that is the team, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to behave like that, and it's a bit like a family as well. So they're going to have their ups and downs, they're going to have their disagreements, but you all want the same thing. And that's fundamentally where, if there are disagreements or difference of opinions, then you've all still got to make sure you pull in the same way. And for a little period where we had a bit of a wobble in February, March was awful. It kind of felt like we weren't all pulling in the same direction, and it becomes just a bit of a gap then, if in that case. And fair play to Vardy. I wish that so many players had his attitude, but you do need that person, and he'll have gained experience. He's probably been rattled a few times by someone like Huth or Big Wes, or he's been the junior guy in the dressing room and probably remembers one or two bollockings himself where he needs to put his socks up and dig in. So it's great that everybody feels like they can do that. Enzo is obviously approachable enough to say to him, look, can I just take the guys away by myself and speak to them? And just chip in what you can, because you all want the same thing.
Yes. Coventry are losing 1-0 to Ipswich. Kiefer Moore scoring after 8 minutes.
Blimey.
Just gets worse.
See, that's Coventry all over. They want to create a bit of a mess, which is what Preston, you'd think, would have done yesterday.
Yes. Coventry obviously have got nothing to play for, so but Ipswich Town. Wayne says, I'm not sure what he's saying there. Chris, swear words / minimum top of the podcasts. Don't quite understand that. But Wayne, thank you very much for becoming a member, by the way. And if anybody else wants to become a member, $1.99 a month. Link is below in the description, and you can find out exactly what you get, which includes a chance to come on here with us lovely people.
Swear words per minute, I think that means.
Swear word. Oh, a minute. For swear, yes, possibly. It's football. It makes you swear, mate. Especially
when we bloody won. Come on.
Yes. As long as we're top of something, Ipswich going to get promoted. Bloody mental. What a job by McKenna. Exactly, Mike. Fair play to them. But yeah, I do think, we've come together as a club, haven't we? And I said on that podcast, we were all sort of, when we got Enzo in, it was like, seriously? 6 days ago, this guy was holding up the Champions League trophy. But that was what we needed, wasn't it? Because we all sort of went, oh my God, we've got Enzo and he's lifting, Champions League, blah, 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 coming from Man City, Pep's number 2. It kind of sort of, we needed that boost, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we needed someone to come in to completely wipe the slate clean, have a different ethos, be able to deal with some big characters, who was young enough, which means he's hungry enough, and isn't swayed particularly by money. Because I think there'd have been some big players sniffing around that job last summer. But I genuinely believe Top is quite open with people. And I think he would say there would be limited budget for a year.
Yeah.
We will be able to buy some, and I'm not sure many of the so-called bigger names, if you like, would want to take that on. Whereas Enzo had nothing to lose at all. He had everything to gain. And I think it's that kind of person that you want, who wants to graft. He doesn't want to graft with loads of money and loads of support. He'll have that eventually anyway, but he wanted to put in his philosophy from the foundations up. He's done it with the kids. You've seen some of these kids come through, like from Seagrave, and he's just been able to put his ethos through the whole club. And that's amazing to have someone like that. And then that reaches all the way up to Top, doesn't it? Who clearly has the same vision and the same kind of culture.
I mean, I wanted to talk about Enzo, as you can see there from the next slide. And I mean, all right, he made that threat like, well, if you don't buy into it and you start moaning, I'm off, sort of thing. But there's a very thin line, isn't there?
I think he's a very clever man with his words. I think he's all about games, which I'm all for.
He takes his time, and I think a lot of, and I notice this when you look back at Claudio, when English isn't your first language, you've got to be careful how you word things. And we've seen, managers come unstuck, or unless you're a Leeds manager, you just don't bother learning English. But there's a very thin line, is there not, between being stubborn, but sticking to what you want to do because you believe it's right.
Yeah, there's blindness. There's blindness and blindly stubborn. Or there's stubborn because, you know what, it would have worked, but you messed up. Which has happened. We've seen that happen. Or you've had injuries creep in, where he needs to tweak things. He will learn. He is learning. But what I like about Enzo is you ask him about Vardy or any players that have taken a knock, he'll say they're out for a few weeks. And I never, ever believe it anymore, especially with Vardy. I'm like, he's out for a few weeks. I'm thinking, no, he's not. Yeah. He's so good at just killing the interview. The interviewer asks no more questions about that then, because, right, there's nothing to talk about. He can't play on Saturday because you said he's out for a few weeks. Then Saturday comes and he's on the team sheet. Enzo, because he just doesn't want to talk about it. And fair play to him. You will not sort of infiltrate what he doesn't want you to know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, we'd talk about stubborn. Obviously, we had obviously the Seal, that was probably one of the most stubborn managers.
Who spoke too much.
Yes, exactly. He, with Enzo, although we lost those games, we only, I think, lost maximum of 3 on a row at any time during the season. Well, that's not bad. When you compare that to the Seal, it's better, and it's a case of, like, all right, so we've lost that game. He had the sense, he didn't come out when we were all those points ahead. He was coming out and saying, do you know what? Don't get used to this, because we're not going to go all season like this.
Yeah, I mean, what did we end up losing in the end? Was it 10? Was it 10 that we lost?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
But, which is more than Nigel did in the Championship. We did have we had a stinking March. But we didn't really draw that many, and that's why the gap.
We've lost 10.
Yeah.
But then Leeds have lost 9. Ipswich have lost, in fairness, Ipswich have lost 6. But
so I mean, if we just had a bit of a wobble, but yeah, we lost those 3 on the bounce. But like we said before, the thing with having a blip in the last 10 games of the season is you haven't got time to make it up and prove the doubters that you can recover from a blip. Because if you have a blip only at the end from game 36 to 46, it's seen as bottling.
Yes.
But Leeds didn't get any points on the board really from 0 to 5 or 0 to game 6. So it's just the same but in reverse, but it would be called bottling it. But it's just all clubs will have a blip, or everybody will do. And you look at Liverpool at the minute. Liverpool, you would argue are bottling it, but it's probably because, which is why Klopp's leaving, is because they're running out of steam. They're starting to run out of steam with what the players that they've got. They're just having their blip now, and that's what that's what I think Leicester are doing. And we've managed to turn around at the right point.
All that time when we were top, and Ipswich for Ipswich going off the boil was getting a couple of draws instead of wins. But I kept saying, when are we going to have our blip? We've got to have our blip sometimes. And of course, then it came along.
And people forget, like we've said before, on Boxing Day when we played Ipswich, it was 4 points. It was 4 points. It was only 4 points. But people wrote off Ipswich at their peril because they just thought, well, Ipswich will drop away. And I never really believed that, because they reminded me of Leicester when we won the league and did the Great Escape. They've got that X factor in their team at the minute that you can't put your finger on it, because it's not about the quality of the players. It's about momentum and not wanting to break that chain. And Ipswich have got that at the minute, and I really hope that it continues for them, because it's a breath of fresh air like we were, and it's great to have new people challenging. It's really interesting, and I think everybody in the Championship, their second team apart from Leeds, is probably Ipswich, because they've it's kind of everybody's underdog, and you love to see it.
Yeah, just looking at the table now, I mean, obviously, there's a long way to go in that game, but presuming that Ipswich go ahead and win this, they only need a draw against Huddersfield. Yeah. Sometimes that can be worse, can't it? Just only needing a draw.
Just kind of so close you can touch it, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is where things will be told, where the pressure is on. They are in the spotlight now. Leicester's done. Leicester is completely done. So the only people left in the spotlight for promotion are Leeds and Ipswich. And who's going to blink first?
Yes. Right. So looking at the season as we do, I don't know whether you were watching the other night, but do you know how many teams since the turn of the century? So we're talking, 25 years. Oh, no, we're not. We're talking 24 years, 23 seasons. Since the turn of the century, how many teams have won 30 plus games in the Championship?
Oh, that's a good trivia question. I didn't see the other night. I watched a bit of it, but I didn't obviously see this bit.
Good. Well, you don't know you got to think about the answer then.
7.
Oh.
I was going to say 8. I was going to say 8. Oh.
You were so close. I'll bring the table up in a minute. Of those 6, how many of them have done it more than once? Uno, indeed. And do you know who that Uno is?
Is that us?
Well, there you go. Yes, it is.
No, that is a great bit of trivia.
That is, and I cannot claim responsibility for it. I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, thank you very much. I did actually pinch it off Twitter, which basically I thought you may have seen it on there. Wolves in 17-18. I put them in the wrong order, but it doesn't matter. Fulham in 2000, 2001. Man City in 1-2. Reading, of course, with their great year in 5-6. Newcastle in 9-10. And we did it last time we got promoted, 10 years ago.
This is giving me the vibes. This is giving me the Great Escape vibes. Because there's the Great Escape because we had odds on relegation, but then there's the Great Escape because we had the Premier League breathing down our neck with a points deduction.
Yes.
You will hate that.
10 years ago, I had that, and it's come out again.
Oh, yeah.
So, there we go. Yeah. So that I mean, we're pretty good in this league, aren't we?
It's really impressive. I mean, 46 games to win over 30 is absolutely brilliant. Well, it's it's promotion material. I'd love to know with those other teams how clear they were, and when they got guaranteed promotion, what game week was it? Because obviously we've only got one game to go. You could argue we should have had it wrapped up a few weeks back, but it'd be interesting to know, because it's been such a competitive league this year. Such a competitive league. I bet the others would have been way clear.
Normally, and the Southampton fan, Jack, that I had on, he sort of said, normally Southampton would have been promoted, and
Danny Baker tweeted the other day saying, in his opinion, I don't know who he supports. I can't remember who Danny Baker supports, but yeah, he was saying the Championship is the best league in the UK.
Yeah, he's a Millwall supporter.
Yeah, just because it's just the competition.
I presume you're talking about Danny Baker off the radio, not Danny Baker from 15 Swindon Street or something like that.
Oh no, Danny Baker, he's
a Millwall fan.
Seven's mate and stuff, Funny and Gaza and all of that. Yeah, him.
Right, next trivia question then. How many teams have won over 4 second-tier titles ever? Thankfully, you were travelling down from Preston last night, because I did some of these last night.
I'm going to say 3.
No. It is, in fact, 5.
Oh.
And I won't ask you who's won the most, because that's pretty obvious, because I've been harping on about it all season. I've got my wish. Thank you very much. There is a Father Christmas. I mean, unless Manchester City get dumped out the Premier League, and let's face it, that ain't going to happen, because they'll bend the rules left, right and centre to keep those teams happy. But we had won it 7 times. It also means we've obviously got relegated more than any other team. But, we'd won it 7 times, Man City 7, Norwich 5, Sheffield Wednesday 5, Sunderland 5. And after that, there's about 7 on 4, so I couldn't fit them all on. But Norwich City, well, they might sort of over the next few years. Sheffield Wednesday are not going to catch us up, and I don't think nor Sunderland. So that's quite a nice thing to have. We are better than Manchester City. We've won more titles than Manchester City, albeit in the second tier. We'll leave that bit off the end, shall we?
I did read that we've been promoted to the Premier League more times than anybody else.
Really?
Yeah, 13 times.
13?
Or maybe the upper tier. I read that
possibly, because that's only when we've come first.
Yeah, I think obviously we've had the most promotion wins.
Yes.
Than anybody else.
They've been up and down quite a bit, haven't they? So but yeah, it's. I mean, I'm really, really pleased with that. I was banging on about that all season, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I wanted that more than I wanted the points, Who are you, Manchester City? Look at that. Take the knee, as Luke would say. Come on.
I just like it's a couple of fingers up to the establishment, isn't it? Which I wouldn't have forecasted at the start of this season would please me so much, but it does really please me, because they tried everything to not make this happen.
Oh, God, yes, definitely.
And are still trying.
Look, we're a small club. Compared to, we're not one of the big six.
Not invited.
No. And I tell you what, are you glad to be back on Match of the Day?
No, not really. Because we'll always either be on last or there'll be like 2 minutes.
Yes, but that 2 minutes is still 15 seconds more than we get on the Championship show each week.
Very true.
It is. I have never seen a football show, and I'm 63, and I've seen a load of highlight shows over the period, and that is the worst one I've ever seen. It's bloody rubbish.
Yeah, it is rubbish. But yeah, Match of the Day, it needs a total facelift and modernising, but yeah, we're back on it. We're back in the Premier League. It's a mixture of emotions on that front. I'm so chuffed to win a league title, no matter what league it is. And almost, we were saying this last night, that would you prefer being somebody constantly in that sort of 17th, 16th, 15th, 14th position, or have relegation and immediate promotion with the emotion that comes with it. And I think I prefer the latter because it's just amazing to win. It's amazing to do well. It's amazing to go and see different clubs and the competitiveness of the Championship. So yeah, the Premier League comes with its penalties, I think.
It does. Although if you VAR, you don't get them. Wayne, thanks very much for popping in, mate, and thank you very much for subscribing.
Thanks,
really do appreciate it. Take care, buddy.
I know Wayne's on Twitter by the looks of his picture. I've seen him on Twitter.
Sorry?
I think I've seen Wayne on Twitter. His picture looks familiar.
Wayne, she's stalking you. That's what she's trying to say. Don't tell Dave whatever you do. It'll be very, very jealous.
If you'll tell Dave today, you'll probably forget.
Well, this is true. This is true. Right. I was going to say something then, and I've forgotten what it is. Yeah, I think what we've got to accept is, and not forget, when we go up, not when, yes, when we go up now, isn't it? Of course. It's not just a case of we've nipped out for a pint of milk and come back again. You know, we are not the Leicester City that has been 9 seasons non-stop in the top division. We're not the Leicester City that won the league, that won the FA Cup, that had 2 fifth-place finishes, had more top half finishes than we had bottom. That isn't us. You know, we are going to be scrapping, especially with the points deduction, but we're going to be scrapping for 15th, 16th, 17th place this first season.
Yeah, but I think going up anyway, even without the FFP weight round our neck, I think no matter who you are, when you get promoted, just try and get 40 points in the first couple of years because it's so difficult. Second season can almost be harder because you think you become a tad complacent or you think you've got it nailed and how the league works. But then the Premier League changes quite rapidly year on year. So, and what's required to stay up. So, you know, people would perhaps think that Burnley were reborn under Vincent Kompany and no longer playing the Sean Dyche style of football they played for a decade and got over 100 points and absolutely romped the league last year. But look at how that's ended up. Like, you've just got to be realistic. And I think, to be honest, that's what Leicester and Leicester fans are quite good at. We know we're not going to go up there next year and be challenging for top 8 or something for European.
But there will be some fans that think we should be.
Well, until the new rules come into place in 2025-26, we can't get the checkbook out and do that. And money does not grow on trees, particularly within football clubs. You won't be allowed to buy the bloody tree. So, you know, we've just got to be realistic and weather quite a heavy storm for the next 12 months.
Yeah. But you know what fans are like? It's like, you know, and I've been saying all season, even when we're 17 points clear, I'm saying, just take a look at Burnley. Just see how, you know.
Anything over that, anything on top of that is a bonus. If we finish 15th, 13th, that's a bonus. We just need to, you know, we've got to behave ourselves. We've got to be really disciplined. It's going to be a much harder task than when we left, like you've said. The Premier League that we left is very different. People like Bournemouth, who you would argue were probably our direct peer, or we could have pipped them to the post last season. Bournemouth have found their stride in the Premier League. Everton have found their stride this year. Like, had they not had that points deduction, they'd be quite far up and potentially almost like level on points with Chelsea, which seems absolutely mad. So we've just got to be realistic and get first things first is the 40 points.
Indeed. And in fact, well, I've got to say well done to Bournemouth because they it's their highest ever points total this season. With a couple of games still to go.
I like Bournemouth a lot. I think Eddie Howe was just amazing there. It's a good club. You know, it's a small ground. It's the only thing I don't like. I would love to see them extend it to have more away fans. But yeah, I like to see clubs like that just, you know, knuckle away and do well.
Luton Town, I'd love them to stay up this season. And of course, Bournemouth, my local club down here, or my local league club, if you like. And I can remember when I came 15 years ago now, down to Bournemouth. Their players outside the pavilion with the buckets collecting money because they'd had a minus 17 points deduction. And then Eddie Howe came in and the rest, as they say, was history. But I do like second seasons in the Premier League for some reason.
Yeah, me too. You feel like a bit more accustomed to it as a fan. And
yes,
Yeah.
Oh no, we just win things in the second season,
Yeah,
don't
we
we?
do. Oh yeah, true. Sorry, I missed the cue there. Yeah, I mean, this is feeling.
Anybody home?
Way too familiar. This is feeling way too familiar for me.
It is. Right, so you've had 2 quiz questions, and you're almost doing as well as me in the prediction league.
Right last night. I didn't get to come on and say.
Yeah, well, sorry.
I got it right last night. I didn't get the chance to come on and say I predicted 3-0.
You did actually, yes. Yes, shame it wasn't worth anything, but you did. But then again, so did Luke. So let's not go. And at the end, I was almost willing that Preston player to chip Stelarczyk because I'd gone 3-1. I'm actually physically going, oh no, come on!
I mean, Vardy could have had a hat trick last night, couldn't he? If he'd have dinked the keeper.
Yes. Right, so 46 game season.
Yeah.
Therefore, technically 46 weeks. Out of those 46 weeks, how many of those weeks have Leicester been top?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is. And all of them have been good ones, if I'm honest.
4.
4?
Yeah, 4 game weeks.
So what you're saying is we've been top of the championship only 4 weeks this season.
No, sorry, the other way around. 42.
42. Sorry,
we've not been top for 4. Sorry.
Do you want to put the subtitles on for you? So you've gone 42.
42.
Yeah. Wasn't that good, I'm afraid. But, well, you've gone 42. Mike has gone 25. Hi, Anthony. I'll put that up in a second. Mike has gone 25, but it's actually in between both. It's 37 weeks.
Okay.
That said, Luke has just gone 31, so he's the nearest. So Luke wins it. I mean, that is still. I don't know. I'd love to try and remember how many weeks we were bottom of the Premier League and do a percentage comparison. But I mean, to say that we were top for 37 out of 46 weeks. As the guy said earlier,
it's giving me the top 4 vibes though, where we were top 4 for like 30 games or 32 games or something out of 38.
But we can't drop. We've done it. We've done it, Kate. Don't worry.
Yeah, true. It's a phenomenal achievement, especially because that hunting pack, and they did not go away.
No.
They were constantly chomping at the bit. And I remember speaking to my colleague at work who's a massive Leeds fan. And he was saying to me at Christmas time or November time, he's like, you guys are going to run away with it. It's just second place. It's up for grabs now. And it was me who kept saying, no, it is by no means over. If we can get this much of a point gap in the first part of the season, we can similarly lose that same amount in the second part of the season. And that's kind of what happened, really. But he was like, they'd almost rested on their levels, but it's just second to play for. But it's amazing, really. It's an amazing feat. And fair play to Enzo, because he learnt his craft in the Premier League, not in this dogged, feisty league where anything can happen.
Yes. Do you think that will stand him in good stead next season?
Yeah, I think he's learnt a lot about himself this year. I think he's learnt a lot about the types of personality within a squad that are responsive to his instruction and responsive to his ideas, which I'd like to think is a high 90% of the squad. I think he's very clear, I would think, of what type of player we need in the market and how, what that cost isn't up to him, but what type of players we're desperate for. So I think his mind will be whirring, and I hope, and I'm sure he will be so excited for what's ahead, because it's exciting.
Yes. And like you say, he's got that experience in that league. He didn't have the experience in this league. And they are 2 completely different leagues. And I just wonder if somebody in Parma in Italy sat there thinking, why did we let this guy go?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But the English league is so competitive. And also in my head, I'm thinking, well, if Man City need a few players out on loan to get Premier League experience, I'd happily have the next Phil Foden for a bit. I mean,
yes. Yes, well, we're supposed to be after that mid, and I've forgotten his name again, but that midfielder we wanted last time, but he decided to go to Sheffield United. I wonder how that's worked out for him.
Yeah. Is it Chair? Is it
no? No, he's gone to use at QPR.
QPR, yeah.
I can't think what his name. I tell you what, Michael come in. He told me the other day, so Michael come in and tell me who it is. Anthony, congratulations on winning the championship. Thank you very much, young man. Your second team, Southampton, have kind of, well, they're not his second team, but we joke that they are. His second team is Bristol City, but his main team, well, his Premier team is Arsenal. So we look forward to the 6 points next season. Thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing the photograph in the dressing room.
Yeah, exactly. I'll save your question till the end, mate. Adele is in. McAtee, that's it. That's the one. And I've got to say Adele is in. And I've always got to say this when Adele comes in. Hello.
It's me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You can. You are allowed to laugh, by the way.
I nearly went, is it me you're looking for? But that's the wrong song.
It is. I wish you had done.
I was like, why is this going? I was like, oh, yeah.
That's Lionel Richie. Although I can understand you getting Lionel Richie and Adele mixed up. They are very, very similar.
Both very big selling artists.
There you go. Yes, indeed. James McAtee. Yeah. So whether we do get him or not, I don't know. We will see. But yeah, that to me, that is just very, very impressive. Shall we have a look at some more facts and figures from this amazing season?
Do it. You're that Stato tonight, aren't you?
I am. You see, I don't waste my days sat in front of a computer at home. No. I'm up and active. We have had, and we sort of touched on this in the TalkSport bit. We've had the most wins, the fewest draws, the most goals scored, the fewest goals conceded. I've said they're the biggest goal. I don't mean as in the net. I didn't finish it off. It should have said the biggest goal difference. But again, those are the two above it. That's obvious. Most home wins than any other team. Okay. We've actually got 52 points at home, which is one behind Leeds, in fairness. They've got 53 points from home, but they've only lost once, I think, at home all season.
And are they away on Saturday?
No, they're at home to Southampton. Okay. Yeah. So we've got the most home wins and 52 points, which is second. We've got the most most away wins and 45 points away from home, more than I think it's 37 behind us. It's a scary fact, and we've got to get used to it. I'm trying not to make you older than you are, but when we went down to the League One, I don't know if that was in your Newcastle years, but when I won't let you forget that. When we went, when we went down to League One, it was great. We were just winning week after week after week. And I said this when I was doing an interview about 10 weeks in. I said, he said, how have you got over, dropping down? I went, you know what? It's just great to be winning again. And we're not going to see anything like this next season, are we?
No. I don't know. You never know with Leicester.
You don't. No, that's true. Sorry, I left you hanging there for a minute. I was clicking and nothing was happening. Right, what's my next slide?
What are you talking about?
Sorry?
What are you talking about?
No, I asked you the question.
No, you sounded like a euphemism there. You were clicking lots and nothing was happening. Sounds like the
you know what I click on my computer, don't you? In the background, I got one of your videos playing, but again, don't tell Dave.
That home and away thing is quite balanced, isn't it? Really, I wouldn't have been able to call it. If you'd have asked me, had we done better at home or away, I don't think I'd have been able to say which anyway. But I saw earlier we scored the most and conceded the most, so it explains why we're top of the league. It's good to see that stat pulls you through.
I would have thought we'd done better away because we seem to, we went to that period. But then again, we lost. Bristol was away, Plymouth was away, Leeds were away. So yeah, actually thinking about it, it probably was. We said earlier about how many weeks we're top of the league and what have you. Let's have a look at it. This is a graph.
Oh, you're frozen.
And I've got to say thanks to foxestalk.co.uk shit off them. So only fair that I credit them. Look, my finger doesn't go up that high. Oh, I said that for a while. But if you look at that bit that's in the middle, I'm not.
What am I looking at in the middle? What am I looking at?
That just that straight line across the top. How many weeks we were top? You know, it's. Oh, and then we did have that drop off, but I just look at that and I just think, I mean, that definitely we're flatlining technically. If that was a heart monitor, we'd be flatlining.
Yeah, I mean, the last part of the season, ironically, just looks like a cardiac arrest, doesn't it? Which is exactly what it felt like. So, it's incredible, really. I don't know whether other teams have rivaled the amount of game weeks that we've been at the top of the league. I don't know what previous leagues have been like on that regard, but that's where expectation comes, though, isn't it? And then that's where, if you start to falter a bit, pressure comes. Like, it's not, although it looks like plain sailing or flatlining, it wasn't. It was all about momentum and keeping the discipline within the team. And yeah, very good stats, though. I'm loving all this.
Well, he said this is why I didn't have Brad on this one, because he hates the stats. But I just need to do this. I've got away with it once. I've not got away with it once, and then I've got away with it once. So we're going to try it again. So bear with me. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, yeah.
You can still hear me, right? Here we go. Time I left it on repeat and it stayed on for too long and they caught me out. It's just nice. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a party atmosphere. I take it you're going on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll be going with one leg. I can't wait.
Go both. Don't leave one behind. Take them both, please. We don't want you to,
it would be great. I mean, it's dangerous being 12:30 kickoff. I think it could get a bit lively before and after in town. But especially as the sun shines.
Isn't it? They're all that time, aren't they? I believe.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But especially as the sun shines.
Why? I suppose.
It's for competitive reasons. But we've already seen that in the previous weeks. Like Preston didn't turn up yesterday because their season's done, so it doesn't change that.
Do you know why? It's because of the Premier League, because they're still playing.
Yeah.
So what Sky can do, in fairness, I guess, is give us all the attention, and then go over to the Premier League. That said, if they're showing the Leicester game, they'll still be talking about Man United, Liverpool, and Man City anyway. But I think that's why they're doing it. But there we go.
Yeah, be part of the atmosphere, all right. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it would be nice to just watch the football without having to really stress about anything.
I wonder if we got Andrea Bocelli, of course, last time we won.
What a treat!
So we'll
Jersey Bud. We might have the Jersey Bud playing or something.
I'm going to say we might have Boy George this time.
I'd love that. I'd love a bit of Culture Club.
You love a bit of Karma Chameleon, do you?
Do you know what made me feel old yesterday? I was Googling when I Predict a Riot was released.
Yeah.
And Will Alves wasn't even born.
I know.
I
get that every morning.
And Casey McAteer was like 2.
Thank you. I feel, as you know, my radio show in the morning, it's, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, just touching into the 20s. And the number, I remember this. And then I think, shit, I'm playing the 60s hour. I just oh Jesus! Yeah, we're getting on a bit. That's what it is.
It's not that. It's just the younger getting younger. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. That was nice of Kate saying how much she loved Bristol. Did you?
I don't remember saying that, but I did love Bristol.
Wasn't where you saw the fridge floating down the canal? Was it?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was. I keep going to these away games, and Noah's Ark is not far away. It's biblical at the minute. Every single time I seem to do long distances. But yeah, Bristol was great. I love Bristol. Thought the fridge floating down the river was a highlight. But yeah, it was good. I think I didn't say that before in a previous podcast, though, unless he's referring back to a previous podcast. I think I've said it before.
You did, and I've got to be honest with you. You know, a fridge going down the canal. That's a whole night out on Saturday night in Bristol.
It's got all the beer in it.
Yeah, they get take the deck chairs along, sit there, cheer it as it goes.
Yeah. And of course, Bristol have taken really good care of our lovely Andy King, haven't they? So
yes, they have. Yes,
what a legend.
They didn't take good care of Nigel though for long, but they did with Andy King and Matty James, of course. You know.
Yeah, Matty J's done well.
Age is just a number, Jamie. You're quite right. Now, let me ask you a question, Kate. What are you doing? What are you doing on the 18th of June?
Don't know.
Well, are you free? Would you like to do something? Because, make a note in your diary, Premier League fixtures are announced.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, your sausage. Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Don't start those sausages again. You know, I actually found a song that was called the Sausage Song. I cannot just say, although he's not here, and I can understand, I've just remembered why he was having a few drinks, Dave. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, Dave. I knew that really easy. We're going for a match.
You did. I have it written. I am thinking of a suitable song to play for him in the morning. But there you go. But no, yeah, it is his birthday. But 18th of June, the fixtures are out. Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. That is going to be panic stations.
At least I don't have to wait, because usually they always used to do it at 9 o'clock, and I couldn't update my socials because I was at work. It's like,
what time are they doing it? Is it 9 or it's normally 9 or 10, isn't it? I think
they usually come out. Yeah, they come out quite early, but yeah. So keep your diaries free for that date, everybody.
Video.
Yes. And now, because of course we want to know who we're going. We got Coventry at home last time. Go on, just for a bit of fun. Who do you want in the first game?
I want someone.
I presume you want a home fixture.
I want a home fixture, and I want someone we can take points off. Let's, for a laugh, and just say they come up. I want Ipswich at home.
Really? And you think we could probably take them? We haven't taken points off them this season. Well, can I just say, I actually called it spot on this season. I said it would be Coventry at home. Okay. So I'm going to go for the double and clip this, everybody, and see if this happens. Nottingham Forest at home if they stay up.
Ooh,
what a way to start the season.
I think I've got a wedding on the opening game, on the opening Saturday of the season, which is a nightmare. Well, it's not a nightmare. It's lovely to be invited, but I realise it's.
I'm going to say, is it a good friend?
Yeah. No, so
my best friend's getting married. Bloody clashes with football, doesn't it?
I just thought that sounds about the same time the Premier League starting. So it is. So yeah, I'll be at the wedding. But if it's a big opening fixture with Leicester, we've played the Sunday, the Monday, or the Friday nights before on opening weekends. So it'll be all.
Luke knows opening game. My son got married, and he got married at the start of the season, and he got married when the game was on. And I did say, bless him, I did say to him that it was very bad planning that he'd booked his wedding day on the day when, the football was on. And he did turn around to me and said, well, in fairness, Dad, we shouldn't have been starting until next week because we were supposed to be in the Premier League.
Touche.
Which was true. But on the day, I did, because obviously as the father of the groom, I don't have to make a speech. So it was great. I did actually, I clicked the old thing and I stood up. And I can't remember who we were playing. Let's just say, for example, it was Bristol or something like that. And I stood up and said, ladies, I'd just like to make just a brief announcement if I can. I know it's, not normally the done thing, but just got to say that Leicester have just scored. Get in. He It could get a chair. In fairness, it did get a chair.
Nice.
But no, next Monday it is a bank holiday, but we are going to be doing this show again. We'll be back on Monday because I said we won't have a game next. We haven't got any more games after Saturday. God,
Unbelievable. It's felt really long, but really
season
quick.
gone. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since we're kicking off against Coventry.
Yes and no. I feel like it's felt long and emotional, but then at the same time, I can't believe we're into May.
Yeah.
It's just been one of those.
Isn't the weather giving it away?
Huh?
Isn't the weather giving it away?
I've definitely felt the difference in the extra 8 games.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus
But next Monday, we should be back at 7:00. Dave should be here if he's got over his hangover. And we're actually going to be doing this next week. Woo! Thank you. That was a little woo. Like a balloon going down.
Don't slag off my woo.
Give us a bigger woo than that, Kate. Come on.
Woo! That just sounds like the Steve Miller band now.
Yeah, exactly.
Woo!
But yeah, we're going to be doing the end of season award. So what will happen is it'll be us 3 on here, but I'll be writing individually to all the presenters and asking you for your nominations for all the different categories, of which there are 6. And then, like at the Oscars, we will announce the winner. Oh, it's all going to be very exciting. But you've got to come in your evening dress. You've got to get dressed up.
I'll bring my hanky for my emotional speech, Gwyneth Paltrow style.
Well, Dave might say the same, but I don't know why he would be bringing his hanky.
Stop it. I knew as soon as I said that, I was like, he's going to be a dirtbag about this.
Yeah. Well, you open the door, I've got to walk through. But look, let's just enjoy Saturday. I mean, look.
Yeah, let's enjoy it.
I've managed to get the guy that did the Blackburn Rovers preview with us earlier in the season chickened out. I don't think he fancies it. But I have got a Blackburn Rovers fan coming in on Thursday at 7:00. So looking forward to that. The last prediction league of the championship will be on Friday at 7. I think that could still go either way between who's at the top. I think it's Shane and Doug. As you know, I'm not nowhere near the top, which probably doesn't surprise you at all. But next year, young lady, you will be in it. We're going to be doing Premier League ones again.
No stress.
So you will have to join us for that one. But Kate, look, thanks very much for coming on and doing that. I mean, it's been great to look back, and it's been great to talk about Leicester going up and Leeds not.
Yeah, it's just been a hell of a roller coaster. What a difference a year makes, eh?
Do you actually, before I let you go, I've just thought of another question. So sorry, you nearly got away. Do you think it's been better that we got relegated, or do you think if we'd stayed up, I don't think we would be in the shape we are now?
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think sometimes it's just got to happen for you to regroup and go again. And this time we've done it, and we're doing it with experience and hindsight because we've done it before. And hopefully we can use the tools we've acquired along the way to make it better this time round. But yeah, sometimes it's just a necessary evil.
It's one step back to take 2 forward, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I think's had to happen. And it would have been, well, we'd have got a points deduction in the Premier League, wouldn't we, this year, like Everton and Forest have. I just think it would have been really difficult for us, having lost some really key players that have all been chatting about the loss of Brendan and how we should be brokenhearted about it and grateful. So I've really enjoyed the no noise from the Premier League, and that's how sometimes you've got to rebuild in just a quieter space, out of all that drama, out of all that controversy, out of all the rumour mill and the heat that comes with the Premier League. And we've got a manager who I think can just handle it next year now.
Yes, indeed. Kate, thank you so very much. Have a good week. I will speak to you obviously over the game on Saturday morning. But just give everybody a shout out. And if somebody can take notes, please, for Dave. But if you can just give a shout out as to where people can find you.
I am at Kate Blakey 40 on Twitter. So please come and find me on there.
And you are, I presume, will you be on a podcast somewhere from the BBC?
No, nothing planned as yet.
There was the one this morning. Would that be on?
It was just So I was on the Radio Leicester breakfast show this morning, the normal breakfast show. I was on around 8:15 this morning. So if you're on the BBC Sounds app, you can fast forward it to that point with Adi Damon. So he was in Leicester. The post-Thorn Gallop, whatever it's called, was out at 7 a.m. and he was the whole program was threaded through promotion stuff, and I came on at that point to just talk about last night and the party time that we had.
Indeed. Well, look, thank you very much. Go and check that out. I'll give it a big shout out for you, even if you don't. And I will see you on Saturday. Thanks a lot, Kate. Take care.
No worries. All right. See you later.
Bye. Bye. Thanks to Kate there for coming on. I'm just going to go through your questions. I know Kate had to go, so let me just do this and do that. There we go. Let's just see what your questions were. Isaiah, I'll just quickly go through. Wayne, thank you very much. He's been and gone, but new member. Sinji, a new member as well. Thank you so very, very much. Do take care of yourself. Appreciate you coming in. I know you have difficulty typing, but hopefully you enjoy the shows. And Nate, who's rejoined as well. So thank you so very much. All members, $1.99 a month. Get a chance to come on here. Details are below. Anthony's question earlier, would I be happy with 14th place next season? Because that's where I put you guys. I think you're being generous, to be honest with you. Look, we're going to start with anything from a 4 to a 9. I mean, Everton got a 8-point deduction, and yet you only get 10 points if you go out of business. And obviously they appealed it and it got taken down, but they've got more points possibly coming along now. If you offer me 14th now, Anthony, I'd bite your hand off. Literally would bite your hand off. Because look at Burnley. Walking this league does not mean that you're going to do. How many times do we see teams that come up go straight back down again? More often than not. Last time we nearly did but we managed to sort of turn it around for the last few games and did the great escape. I'd take 17th. I really would take 17th, especially if they with the points deduction. But even without that, that is probably what I would be looking at. So yeah, if you're giving me 14th, I'd say yes. Thank you very much. Very much. Will Leicester offer the manager a contract extension? He's already talking to, I was just looking then on the news feed, Enzo Maresca. Let's just see what this was about. Plans to talk to a Leicester City hierarchy over two matters he didn't like. Transfers and finances will be the hot topics when Maresca sits down with the club's directors. Look, football extend, football contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on. I'm going to say that. You offer somebody a contract, does it make any difference? Offer a player a contract, and what do? I just don't know what the point is. We will lose him. If Maresca does well, we will lose him. There's no doubt about that. We are in the bigger tree. If Barcelona or Real Madrid came in for Arteta, Arsenal would lose him. There's always a bigger club. Manchester City would, all right, Pep, that's probably a bit different. But generally speaking, there are bigger clubs somewhere around the world. So let's say Arteta, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. So Maresca will go at some point. And I think was it 2 or 3 years we offered him anyway. So I'm not sure how long he's actually got left on it at the moment. He did. That was the same question there. Yep, survival is crucial. 16th. I don't care. As I say, as long as we stay up, That's all that matters on that first season. But what people have got to realise is we're not the same Leicester. We're not the same Leicester that that was in there before, you know. So don't think that we're going to come back and immediately be challenging for Europe. It's not going to happen. I'll just leave you with this because, as I say, I did this, which was, and I've mentioned it a few times, just before the Easter break. Kate did ours for Leicester. Carl did did one for Leeds United. An Ipswich Town fan and a Southampton fan all gave me their predictions. I was on a 3-year contract. Thank you, Adele. So, look, if we offer him an extension, like I say, he's on 3 years anyway. But you know, he may come and say, "Well, I want to rise," and then that's obviously different. But we'll see. So just before Easter, I went to all the fans. I say one from Leicester, one from Leeds, one Ipswich, one Southampton, and asked them to predict the games for the rest of the season to see where they would be. Leeds United, and this is always one game left. Leeds United said they weren't going to lose a game. How did that work out? But Ipswich. So, well, what has happened basically? Since the 29th of April, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Leeds have got 8 points from those 6. Ipswich have got 9. Southampton have got 8. And Leicester have got 15. That's why we're champions. Because when we struggled, so did every other team. It wasn't a case of, you know, nobody took advantage. Nobody would take advantage. And look, here we go. We are Premier League. We're going to be back there. We're still going to be doing shows during the summer, and obviously we will have the watch along for Blackburn Rovers. So do join me for that on Saturday. It's a morning kickoff. They all are. I think it's 12:30 kickoff. So join me 45 minutes before kickoff, whatever time it happens to be. If you're new, please do subscribe. It really does help the channel. Thank you very much. And smash the likes. If you're watching this on catch up, as long as it's clean, it's all you do. If you put an abusive message on, I just delete it. So it doesn't make any difference. And I get the money because you're giving me views. So please do add your comment below. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, whatever that happens to be, all the main ones, Spotify, Google, Apple, iTunes, Amazon, do please thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Please keep it up. Next Monday, like I say, we'll be doing the awards. But Thursday, that's the preview show at 7. Friday at 7, it's the prediction show. Saturday morning, it's the watch along. Take care. Thank you very much, everybody. Look, we're Premier League. It doesn't get any better than this, does it? I don't think so. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.